Welcome back. Let's talk about an economic model, the production possibility frontier. It's just a visualization of efficiency, growth, and trade-offs. So in economics, we tend to assume that scarce resources lead the trade-offs. Let's make one more assumption. Let's assume that there are only two goods, guns and butter. The idea here being that guns represents production and spending on national defense, and butter represents production and spending of domestic programs and consumption goods. So the production possibility frontier is a graph that shows the combinations of output that the economy can produce with the available factors of production and production technology. It's just a graph that's going to show us when we make so many guns, how much butter can we make, and if we make more butter, what happens to the amount of guns we can make. So let's think about these ideas in the production possibility frontier. So a few things to look for. Think about scarcity, the limited nature of society's resources. Look for efficiency, getting the most out of those resources. Trade-offs and opportunity costs, what's given up to get something, and economic growth. So let's dive in and look at our model. So taking a look at the production possibility frontier, production possibility frontier, this is just a model that shows us trade-offs between two goods, helps us think about efficiency, trade-offs, even opportunity costs. So let's look at the standard classic case of guns and butter. And if you're wondering why guns and butter, this is a classic case as a way that illustrate the trade-off between national defense and consumption. So if we put all of our time and effort into producing guns, we can produce some quantity. If we put all of our effort into producing butter, we could produce some quantity, or we could split our time between the two. So make some combination of guns and some combination of butter. These combinations, these are our points where we are efficiently producing. The production possibility frontier, this line is our line of efficient production. So let's mark a few points on there and we'll call all of them E. So E is efficient production. But the economy isn't always on its efficient production frontier. It's not like we're always getting the most we could out of our scarce resources. We could be somewhere inside producing fewer guns and fewer butters than we potentially could. So these points inside of the possibility frontier, let's call those I. So I is our inefficient point. Because we could produce more, right? We could produce along this frontier, producing more of guns and more butter. And outside of the frontier, put a point out here, we'll call it something like point N, because it's not feasible, right? So N is not feasible. We just can't produce that, but we might want to consume it. So how do we consume at point N? Well, maybe it's a story about needing some economic growth so that we can produce it, or a story about trade. But those are subjects for another video. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.